Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak. You may know him, the 7-foot demigod that is virtually unstoppable on offense, handles the ball like a guard, finishes at will above the rim like a wing, with the size and stature of big. Not to mention that he's also developing a consistent jump shot and a savvy post game. And if you bring a help defender to stop him from scoring, expect Antetokounmpo to find the open man with ease. And Giannis is almost just as good on the offensive end as he is on defense. His combination of size, wingspan, instincts, and athleticism makes him one of the hardest players to get around, shoot over, or simply score on. He is one of the only players in the league that can actually guard all 5 positions on the court at any given time. He finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year race in 2019. Antetokounmpo possesses an unfair package of skill and physical tools, one that bolstered Giannis to his first MVP award of his career. And this year, it appears that the Greek Freak is on course to win back-to-back MVPs and, in my opinion, has a great chance to win Defensive Player of the Year. Winning the 2 awards in the same season is a feat accomplished by a small crowd, and an elite one at that. Michael Jordan, David Robinson, Kevin Garnett, and Hakeem Olajuwon are the only players to accomplish such a feat. Not to mention that Giannis has led this Bucks team to the best record in the entire league thus far, and has this team as one of the NBA title favorites. If Giannis racks up regular season hardware and leads the Bucks to an NBA championship, that would solidify Antetokounmpo as the best player in the world. The reign of Giannis would officially begin. But how did we get here exactly? Antetokounmpo's rise to stardom has been unlike any other generational superstar before him. In 2013, he was drafted 15th by the Bucks out of Greece. Looking back at that draft day, he looks like a whole other person. Looking at his frame, you would have no idea that he would be the dominant inside scoring behemoth that we see today. Looking at his highlights coming into the draft, you'd have no idea that he could be a generational talent with greatest player of all time potential. All you could see was potential. He was the definition of project player, one that would take years of development and patience as a franchise. And Milwaukee's patience would pay off. In his rookie year, he averaged 7 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, and a block in 24 minutes a night. Nothing in that stat total screams future MVP, but things that you saw through the eye test did. When he would routinely bring the ball up the court, force the issue, and finish at the rim, or find an open man with a tidy pass, or when he would make a passing lane steal or help side block that would look impossible for basically anybody except Giannis, you saw glimpses of something spectacular. All he needed was consistency, experience, and continued improvement. In his 3rd year, Giannis averaged 17 points, 4 assists, 8 rebounds, over a steal, and a block a game in 35 minutes of action. It became clear that the Bucks were all in on Giannis as their potential franchise player. After that season, Milwaukee gave him a 4-year, $100 million contract extension, and Giannis followed through on their belief and investment by doing the exact thing that got him to the NBA in the first place, working hard and improving. That year, Giannis broke out, averaging 23 points, 5 assists, 9 boards, basically a steal and a half, and 2 blocks a game, bolstering him to his first All-Star appearance and winning the Most Improved Player award of 2017. In every subsequent year, Giannis would improve his points per game, rebounds per game, and make the All-Star team. And his improvement in the stat sheet translated to his improvement towards his standing in the league, winning MVP last year and potentially going back-to-back this year, establishing Antetokounmpo as a definitive top 3 player in the league. The SuperMax. What is it? A contract given to a player that makes up about 35% of a team's salary cap. To be SuperMax eligible, the player must have either played 8 seasons already or will have played 8 seasons by the end of his current contract. The SuperMax can only be offered by the team that drafted him or traded for his rookie contract. The player must satisfy one of these 3 requirements. 1. Made at least one All-NBA team in the past 2 seasons. 2. Won a Defensive Player of the Year in the past 2 seasons. Or 3. Won 1 MVP in the past 3 seasons. So why does the SuperMax contract even exist? Why would a general manager want to set aside 35% of their salary for one person? The SuperMax was created in 2016 with the purpose of giving the hometown team an advantage in free agency to keep their homegrown talent. The advantage lies in the ability to offer much more money to that free agent than any other team on the open market, regardless of how much cap space a team has. Prior to the implementation of the SuperMax, there was a recent influx of superstar players leaving their small market teams in free agency in favor of marketable big city teams. LeBron leaving Cleveland in 2010 for Miami, and KD leaving Oklahoma City in 2016 for the Golden State Warriors, who at that time were playing in Oakland, but were really close to the big city of San Francisco. However, recently there have been some obvious shortcomings of the SuperMax. Because of the high percentage of cap space directed at one player via a SuperMax contract, it can hinder a team's flexibility to build around their star or superstar talent. Now, devoting so much cap room to one player is worth it if that one player is a bona fide superstar that can carry a team to a championship. But what if he isn't? What if he's simply a fringe superstar talent that you're uncertain of whether he can lead a championship team? Some players that come to mind include Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, and John Wall pre-injury. These are players that recently got SuperMax contracts or SuperMax extensions from the teams that drafted them. And projecting forward, Rudy Gobert in the 2021 offseason could be eligible for a SuperMax, and Bradley Beal in 2022 could be eligible if he rejects his player option. These are all players that are all NBA type talents, but not players that are definitively of the lead your team to a championship type caliber. So if this is the case, then why do teams give these players SuperMax contracts? A lot of the justification comes from the type of teams that have these players. Most of the aforementioned players play in middle or small market cities compared to other teams in the NBA. Looking at teams such as Portland, Oklahoma City, when looking at Russell Westbrook, I say Oklahoma City because Russell Westbrook was in Oklahoma City when he signed his SuperMax contract, and Salt Lake City in Utah. These types of teams are completely willing to throw a SuperMax contract at any star talent that they draft. Small market teams are desperate to hold on to their homegrown talent for many reasons: fan attachment, ticket sales, jersey sales, and frankly, more money for the owners of these teams, period. The New York Knicks have been one of the highest valued franchises in all of sports, while remaining a garbage fire of a team devoid of talent. However, teams like the Charlotte Hornets or Sacramento Kings don't have the same luxury. Small market teams are desperate to hold on to their star players no matter the cost, because at the end of the day, those players drive a team's revenue. Without a star player and without team success, small market teams have minimal profits. Hence why a small market team would be desperate to hold on to their star player. Another shortcoming of the SuperMax is the limited effect that it has on a superstar's desire to return to that team. The main benefit of the SuperMax is the team's ability to offer the most money on the open market. However, that impact is minimized when money isn't a main concern for these superstars. Players who have lucrative shoe deals over an extended amount of time, along with numerous other endorsements. These superstars can make up for any money lost in a potential SuperMax deal through all of the endorsements that they have in their corner. When Kawhi forced his way out of San Antonio in a trade to Toronto, he lost out on a potential SuperMax contract that he could have received from the Spurs in the following offseason. But again, superstars like Kawhi, LeBron, Curry, Harden, and Giannis can make up for that money off the court, which is why players of this caliber may feel more comfortable leaving such a lucrative amount of money on the table in pursuit of winning somewhere else or simply playing in a larger market. In 2021, Giannis Antetokounmpo, a generational talent, a player who many believe has the potential to become the greatest of all time in the NBA someday. That player will hit unrestricted free agency for the first time in his career, assuming that he doesn't take a mid-season contract extension, which he most likely will not because he could get more money from the Bucks in unrestricted free agency. The Bucks make a compelling case for Giannis to choose to return in free agency. As currently constructed, if they had Giannis for the long haul, the Bucks should be perennial title contenders for years to come. Milwaukee has done a great job of surrounding the Greek Freak with an almost perfect roster. It's filled with rangy multi-positional defenders, great shooters that provide spacing, veterans you'd want on a contending team, young developing talent, and a solid number 2 scoring option. The coaching staff is also proven, led by 2-time Coach of the Year Mike Budenholzer. The Bucks have done just about everything right to make it enticing for Antetokounmpo to choose a return to Milwaukee. But what if he doesn't? Again, it's free agency for a reason. You get to choose where you spend your next 4 to 5 years. And Giannis isn't a free agent until after the 2020 to 2021 season. A lot can happen in 2 years, and a lot of variables exist. What if Milwaukee doesn't win a championship in the next 2 years? What if Giannis has a falling out with the front office or with a teammate? And in free agency, what if there are multiple big market teams with cap space attempting to attract Giannis to their team? All it takes is for one team to make an attractive free agency pitch. Would Giannis gravitate towards being the potential savior of the Knicks in the Big Apple? We've heard rumblings of Miami saving cap room for 2021, and we know they've attracted a generational superstar in free agency before. What about Golden State, who are now in San Francisco? Playing with the Splash Brothers would definitely provide spacing for Giannis. If they could somehow finesse cap space for 2021, I wouldn't count them out of the Giannis sweepstakes. Compared to all those big city teams, Milwaukee may appear smaller than usual to Antetokounmpo. At the end of the day, we can speculate all we want until the summer of 2021. Rumors will circulate over the next 2 years, but the only person that could have an accurate idea about his career's future is the player himself, Giannis. However, his decision will have an impact that will be felt not just immediately, but also for years to come, and not only on the court, but in the NBA's front office as well. Not only will his decision dictate what team will immediately be a championship contender, but even further, if Giannis does not choose to remain in Milwaukee in 2021, a team that has done everything right when it comes to running a franchise around a generational talent, his decision will confirm that the concept of a SuperMax contract is a complete failure.